Welcome back. All right, so busy night tonight in the National Hockey League. Teams I cheer for went 0 for 3, and each of them in a completely different fashion. How many ways are there to lose? I don't know. Let's go ahead and start things off with Boston. They chose spectacularly end in flames. Um, Although the Flames weren't. Anyways, Nick Ritchie scores a minute and 2 seconds in from Zboril and Coyle. And, you're thinking, well, that's good fortune, scoring first against the Islanders. If you can play a little bit of defense and, I don't know, maybe. No. Pelech scores from Martin and Cizikas at 3 minutes and 16 seconds. The Islanders had some pressure about 5 minutes in. And Barzal would then score from Leddy and Varlamov at 12:39. Makes it 2-1. And then Varlamov made a nice stop on Moore. The Bruins had a lot of shots in that first period. Varlamov, kind of sort of awesome. Second period. Power play for the Bruins. That's killed off. DeBrusk was getting frustrated at the bench. Not happy that the goaltender's stopping the pucks and that he's not able to get them in. Power play then for the Islanders. They don't score on it. And then after killing that off, well, Craig Smith gets a goal from DeBrusk and Vakanainen at 11:36. Smith seems to be heating up, so that made it a 2-2 tie. Smith's next chance was blocked, and in the closing moments, there's a miss for Corrali. But you're going into the third period. Boston's played very well on the road. It's a 2-2 tie. And then the third period, the dam burst. Beauvillier at 5:41. Eberle from Barzal and Lee at 10:45. The Bruins get a power play. Well, you don't want to do that, because then Pajot's going to score shorthanded from Pelech at 12:24. Lee scores from Dobson and Leddy at 14:44, and then it's Wahlstrom scoring his second of the season from Pulock and Cizikas at 16:33. And for a team that can't score, the Islanders tonight sure could. They win this one 7-2. They had a power play late. It didn't matter. They go to 10-6-3. Boston drops to 11-4-2. This is a concerning loss for Boston because they have to play again tomorrow. So the shots in this one were 15-10 Boston in the first, 13-9 Boston in the second. In the third, the Islanders outshoot them 18-8. The final shots 37-36 in favor of the Islanders. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 2. Halak saved 30 out of 37. Stayed in the whole game because they're playing again tomorrow, so you're saving Rask for tomorrow night's game. Halak's on his own, and in that third period, he certainly was. Varlamov saves 34 out of 36. Another good start for Semyon Varlamov. And for the Islanders, a big key victory, and it gets them that much closer to Boston. Boston right now with 24 points, the Islanders with 23. So there you go. Of course, winning percentage, there's a bit more of a difference there, but big game for the Islanders. That's how you do it in the third period. That's how you get the job done. That's how that works. Next up, Washington at home against Pittsburgh. This is a season series that favored Pittsburgh greatly coming into tonight, and the Capitals played like they took that to heart. It was low scoring in the beginning though. Shots were 5-3 for the Penguins 4 minutes in. Rust had a wraparound that was stopped. Capitals push. Oshie had a chance that went wide, and then Backstrom. Backstrom scores from Jensen. Great pass from Jensen at 11 minutes and 20 seconds. It makes it 1-0 for the Capitals. The Penguins would get a power play. Coming out of that, Hagelin actually had a good shorthanded chance. Oshie then had a chance that deflected out. Penguins go back to the power play. That's killed off. In the last minute, there are some chances for the Penguins, and Vanacek robbed Rust. So Brian Rust again around the net, as he normally is. He didn't get on the board tonight, but very useful forward. Second period, power play for the Penguins. Ovi bats one right into Jari's glove. So Ovechkin did not get a goal tonight. He does not get a goal closer to Phil Esposito. Power play for the Capitals. Eller had a chance on a turnover. That went wide. Power play for the Penguins. That's their fourth. And there was a shorthanded chance for Dowd. So Hagelin in the first, Dowd in the second. Good penalty killing by the Washington Capitals tonight. We go to the third period, and it's early. And Oshie would score from Eller and Carlson at 3 minutes and 18 seconds. That made it 2-0. Then they get a power play. This is where the Capitals can end it. But it's Pittsburgh, so they don't. It's a shorthanded goal. It's Tanev at 4:22. That makes it 2-1. And you could see there was a bit of a jump for Pittsburgh on that, a little bit more confidence. And they score again. It's Gensel from Letang and Crosby at 7:22. But the Capitals get another power play, clearly learned from what happened on the previous one, and they score. It's Wilson scoring from Karlsson and Ovechkin at 12:40. I don't have it on the board, but Wilson did throw a hit tonight that we'll see whether or not the Department of Player Safety says anything about it tomorrow. It was seen as late, and we'll see whether or not anything comes out of that. Then there was, during that power play too, it was a 5-on-3.5 because Letang was playing without a stick. So, noteworthy. Goaltender gets pulled with 2 minutes left. That allows Hagelin to hit the empty net. At 18:38, they pull the goalie again, down by 2, because why not? And Eller hits the empty net from Oshie and Backstrom at 19:08. So the Washington Capitals get a measure of revenge tonight. They win 5-2. They run their record to 10-5-4. Pittsburgh drops to 10-7-1. Like I said, we will see if anything happens with that hit by Wilson. The shots in this one, 12-11 for Washington in the first, 14-11 Washington in the second, 9-6 Washington in the third. Final shots, 35-28 in favor of the Capitals. Power plays, Pittsburgh 0 for 4, Washington 1 for 3. Jari saves 30 out of 33. Vanacek, 26 saves on 28 shots. Continues to put up good numbers ever since I heard Pierre McGuire going, well, he's not a starter, so okay, he looks pretty good right now. I don't know, maybe he's got like a device in his ear and he's like, what did he just say? I'm not a starter. See, they can't rely on me. All right. Next up, Carolina and Tampa. I've talked about how much I enjoy this series, right? And tonight was much the same. So we did have 7 games starting at the same time, so I had to pick and choose where I was going. Then we had 8 games, then we had 9 games on at once, so I was watching what I could. And I kept sneaking peeks at this one because I know this is potentially a second-round matchup that could be fantastic. Early edge to the Canes. The Bolts wearing their reverse retros tonight. Yep. That's the team that wins with their reverse retros. Shots were 5-1 for the Canes at 6.5 minutes. Post then for Svechnikov. So the Canes got off to a very good start. Coleman had a break that draws a power play. The Canes kill that off. There was only one shot for Tampa Bay during that. And then Pesce scores from Fast and Aho at 14:23. So 1-0 Carolina. They're playing very, very well. Tampa Bay gets a power play, but then we have 1:25 of 4-on-4 when that power play is ended. So the Bolts get another power play late, and there was a shorthanded chance for Martinook during that power play. So we go to the second period with the Canes up 1-0. Power play for the Canes in the second period early on, killed off by Tampa. Canes get another power play. That's killed off. Then Tampa gets a power play. That's killed off. The power plays, there were a ton of them tonight. Lots. Not a goal to be scored. Sergachev would score his first, finally. I've been waiting on that for a while. From Braden Point at 12:39. That tied it up. And it felt like there was a bit of a momentum swing off of that, even though Carolina was out shooting them to that stage. Big stick save by Reimer. There's then a 2-on-1 for Carolina. Trocheck shoots it wide. McElhinney stops a Lawrence shot. So this was a big test tonight because you have Curtis McElhinney in net, and of course his first game out was a rough one. Tonight he showed he can man this net against a team he played for, I do believe, a couple seasons back. Canes get a late power play. Stamkos missed high in the last minute. Canes take a penalty, so with 31.4 seconds left, Tampa gets the power play. That leads over into the third period. The Canes killed off the remaining 1:28 seconds of that power play to start it off. Reimer then denied foot. Slavin had a chance that was stopped. And then at 6:22, it's Yanni Gourde, who's been waiting a while for another goal. He gets one tonight from Hedman and McElhinney. So yeah, McElhinney gets on the board, and that made it 2-1 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Power play for the Canes again. That's killed off. If Carolina had hit on just one of those 6 power plays they had tonight, would have been a completely different game. Goaltender gets pulled with 1:50 seconds left. Well, you know what that leads to? Barclay Goodrow on what was kind of a brutal turnover at center ice by the Carolina Hurricanes, but that's okay. He'll put it in the net. 18:44 was the time of that one. That makes it 3-1. That's your final score. Tampa goes to 13-4-1. For Carolina, they drop to 12-6-1, and they have to look at this game as a lost opportunity. So now they're in a position where they are third in the division after being first only a few days ago. That's how quickly this can turn. Shots were 13-6 Carolina in the first, 12-8 Carolina in the second, 8-7 Tampa in the third. Final shots 32-22 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, the power plays, Carolina 0 for 6, Tampa Bay 0 for 5. Reimer saves 19-21, and McElhinney saves 31 out of 32. That'll bring up his save percentage and drop that goals against average. So, yeah, not too shabby. And Tampa, they might be back to number 1 on my board. They may very well be back to number 1. Next up, Dallas. Good 40 minutes from Dallas tonight. It was a really, really good 40 minutes. And it looked like maybe they were going to do this. And then I think it was Anton Stralman that decided, I think I'll destroy our rink. And that'll make it better. So the shots were 2-0 for the Stars at 5 minutes. Lamico had a chance that was stopped. Good start for Ottinger. And I thought Ottinger had a good game. Let's be honest. Ottinger had a good game, and then just Dallas fell apart here. Shots were even, and I thought, now are the Panthers going to hit 40 shots tonight? They've had 40-plus shots in the first 2 games of this series. Are they going to hit that number again tonight? They didn't. Second period, early Stars power play, and they score on it. Pavelski from Dowling at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's 1-0 Dallas. Feels different, right? Stars back on the power play, and I mean it feels different because they were legit the better team to that point in the game. Power play then for the Panthers after Bobrovsky had denied Heiskanen. Bobrovsky had also a big save with 5 minutes left. So the power play for Florida, that was the only one they had in the game, and it was killed off. And then Ben from Klingberg at 17:49. Yeah, it's 2-0 in favor of Dallas after 2 periods. And again, they had outshot Florida. They had kept Florida's shot totals down. Third period. Shots are 2-1 for the Stars at 5 minutes. You got this. This is a win, right? I also, full disclosure, I do put the win and loss totals above the games before they're done if I'm 90% sure that that's going to be the result. I did not put a result over this one until about here. So the Panthers make their push. Then the boards get broken. It's a hit by I believe it's Stralman, right? And it breaks the top of the board, so they come out to fix it. And all I thought was, that's a bad corner, because you could see that it didn't quite meet up. And I thought, a puck's going to come off of there, and that's going to be a problem. But it was a while. It was a break, right? Florida takes advantage of that break. They come out of that timeout, long timeout. Barkov scores from Verhaeghe and Uyghur at 13:39. So that made it 2-1. That's where you're like, all right, so if Dallas can lock it down, no. Stralman would score from Marchment and Luostarinen at 14:31. So that happens. The Panthers then kept coming. They were pressing for the lead, and Vetrano would score from Wenberg at 16 minutes and 50 seconds. And so Dallas is down now 3-2. So, yeah, Vetrano from Wenberg, they pull the goaltender, and after it became 3-2, I put the records up there. I was like, all right, so that's it. Dallas has completely collapsed. They had a 2-goal lead. That was nice. It didn't last. And yeah, they pull the goalie. They don't tie it up. They drop to 6-5-4. They're officially in trouble. Florida's 13-4-2. They are officially first in the division by points right now. And the shots in this one were good for Dallas. 11-10 in the first, 17-10 in the second, and then in the third, 15-11 in favor of Florida. Final shots 39-35 in favor of Dallas. Power plays, Dallas 1 for 2. Florida only had the one power play, didn't score on it. Ottinger saves 32 out of 35, and Bobrovsky 37 out of 39. Sergei Bobrovsky saved his best for tonight, and all those saves he made while they were down 2-0, they're the story here. Because if Dallas had got that third goal, this game's probably done. But he doesn't. They decide to break their own rink to get back in the game, and it works. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, second board, and it's Chicago and Columbus. Here's the thing. So all of their games have been fantastic. This one tonight, a little bit slower. And I thought that favored Columbus. I did. I thought, this slow meandering game, this could absolutely favor Columbus. And yet, Chicago pushes through it. So, first period, Laine would hit a post. That was a popular theme tonight. Laine's got to be kind of, rolling his eyes at all this. Shots were 4-2 for Columbus 9 minutes in. A home run pass to Laine just missed. Again, Laine, there were a lot of times tonight where he could have got 1, 2, maybe a hat trick, right? Subban, very sharp in this game. Power play for Columbus, and then post number 2 for Laine during that power play. So it's scoreless after 1, but you're looking at this and thinking, gee, no, Laine, if he just didn't hit those 2 posts, if those had gone in. But again, ifs, buts, ands. Second period, wide open first 5 minutes, but few chances. So this is one of those games where it's free-flowing and it's taking time off the clock. Better period for the Hawks. Kane had a chance that was blocked. Subban then robbed Robinson while he was missing his stick. So, again, very good game by Subban. Korpisalo then made some final minute saves to keep things scoreless as we entered the third period. In the third, early on, there's some saves by Subban. Columbus would get a power play. They don't score on that. There wasn't a lot of power plays in this game. And then Kane scores goal number 399 of his career from DeHaan and DeBrincat at 8:45. Goal number 399. He is ready to become one of the few Americans who have scored 400 goals in his career. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. We know this. Domi then had a chance that was a near miss, and then he enjoyed that so much he did it again. So Max Domi with some near misses. Laine, and anything where Laine's involved, Roslovic's probably on the ice. Goalie pull in the last minute after a power play for the Hawks had failed, and that was the only power play they had in the game. And then Soderberg hits the empty net from Murphy at 19 minutes and 10 seconds. And so Columbus loses this one. It's close, but it's 2-0, and it's a loss. For Chicago, they go to 11-6-4. Columbus drops to 8-8-5. Is the seat getting warmer under Tortorella or not? I don't know the answer, but it probably should be. Final shots in this one, it was 8-3 Columbus in the first, and it was 12-3 Chicago in the second. In the third, Columbus actually outshot them 15-12. Final shots 27-26 for Chicago. Power plays, Chicago 0-1, Columbus 0-2. Subban saves all 26 for what was only his second career shutout. And Korpisalo saves 25 out of 26 at the other end. But Columbus were back to they can't score. Even though they have some good scorers in their lineup, they couldn't score. At least for tonight, they couldn't score. We'll see if it's the start of a trend or what happens from here. But for Chicago, another big win for them. They are continuing to say, you know what? It can be 2015 again. Don't tell us it can't be. That wasn't 6 years ago. It's 2015 right now. Next up, what happened is next up. So, I mean, I'll get to the Canucks and the ever-increasing frustration in Canuckland, but Flames fans aren't far behind. And it's because the Flames are bad, and because Montreal's struggling, that Canucks fans still have this horrible thing called hope. And tonight, Ottawa kind of has hope too, because Ottawa has to look at this net to go, okay, Vancouver's not very good. Calgary's record's not great. Montreal's struggling. Why not us? Why not Ottawa? So, early chances for the Sens, crossbar for Monahan, and then Batherson continues this amazing run he's been on. He gets another goal from Stützle and Anisimov at 7:45. And then it's Goodbranson. Yeah, Goodbranson gets a goal from Tierney at 9:27, and it's another slow Flame start. So they got off to better starts against Toronto, but against Ottawa, you go right back into these miserable starts to the game. 2 shots for the Flames 14 minutes in. I understand they played last night. They've got to come out sharper than this. Because when you played last night, you're supposed to be the team that gets 2 shots in the third, not the first. Murray then stopped a chance from Tanev. They got some chances late in the period, but it was a miserable first period. Second period, early, Lucic scores from Dubé and Tanev at 1:41. And you get this feeling that maybe this is going to turn around. Maybe the Flames get... No. Brutal turnover. Now, if you look at the replay, it looks like it's Lucic's fault. But Lucic throws it into the middle, and one of the guys coming up through the middle should get that, and they didn't. So Connor Brown goes, thanks, and he scores unassisted, or I guess you could give the assist to Lucic at 4:39. So Lucic upset because he scores to get them on the board, and then he's on the ice for the goal against right after that. And then Brandstrom would score at 7:24, and that was flat out a bad goal. That's from center ice. That's Nick Lidstrom on Dan Cloutier territory. And so they pull him, and then as he's going down the hallway, he decides to headbutt the a closed door. I mean, he's wearing his mask, but still, if we hear coming out of this, it looks like Riddick's concussed, and Markstrom's still out, he's going to feel pretty silly after, so don't headbutt a door. Go ask Bill Goldberg what happens when you headbutt random stuff in the locker room. Bad things happen. So we go to the third period with Ottawa up 4-1. The shots were 1-1 at 2.5 minutes. I thought that was noteworthy for a simple reason. You're looking for a statement period from Calgary, and early on you're not getting it. And then White scores from Paul at 4:55, and then White enjoyed that so much he scores again to make it 6-1 from Shabbat and Dadonov at 14:46. The Ottawa Senators beat Calgary 6-1. They go to 7-14-1. This is a 3-game winning streak now for Ottawa. Calgary drops to 9-10-2, and yet they're in trouble. And again, they're giving hope to Vancouver, and I hate that. So the shots were 13-5 Ottawa in the first, 10 apiece in the second, and 15-8 for Calgary in the third. Final shots 31-30 in favor of Ottawa. Power plays, there weren't any. There were no penalty minutes in this game. If Calgary's going to beat Ottawa, I understand the Tkachuk brothers are against each other and they don't want to, maybe they don't want to agitate each other. You have to play a physical style. You have to play Calgary hockey. This was not Calgary hockey. This, like I talk about games where it seems like a team wants a coach fired. This is what that looks like. It's a lopsided game, and they just don't seem to have the jump. And that's been a problem for Calgary all year. They get outshot in the first period 13-5, like I said, so they come out flat again. Riddick saves 16 out of 20. He gets pulled. Now remember, Markstrom's not around, so Zagadulin had to take over. He ends up saving 9 out of 11, and Murray saves 29 out of 30. Hey, look, Matt Murray suddenly has decent numbers. And for David Riddick, a guy who drove Toronto completely mental for 2 games, Ottawa goes, we can beat him. It's just like Vancouver couldn't do anything against Montreal, and then Ottawa goes, easy, watch us. I don't know what Ottawa's doing, but they're starting to look like they might be more than spoilers, because that 4th spot in that division might be more wide open than we thought it was going to be. Next up, New Jersey and Buffalo. This was a game of great momentum swings and no Jack Eichel. Eichel, who, remember the coach said, oh, he's not hurt? Now he's got an injury. So we've been watching him going, he doesn't seem to be himself. Team goes, he's not hurt. And then they go, unless he's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt. And then they put Tage Thompson in the lineup instead of Skinner. So for Buffalo fans, there's more and more logs for the fire to burn the whole team down. Shots were 5-2 for the Devils at 3.5 minutes. The Sabres wearing the reverse retros, which looked fantastic. I love those jerseys. There was an article in the Hockey News where they talked about the reverse retros, and he said, the guy who wrote it said that those crossed swords belonged on the shoulders and should have stayed there. So I went through my collection, and I'm like, they never had the crossed swords on their shoulders. There were 3 things that I read in that article rating all the reverse retros, and I was like, that's not even correct. So, okay. Anyways, there you go. Little extra tidbit for tonight from THG. Sheahan would score from Olofsson at 6:28. So even though the Devils are controlling the play, Buffalo's ahead. In fact, the shots are 10-4 Devils at 9 minutes. So they're way ahead on the shots. Buffalo's ahead on the scoreboard. Ullmark having another great game, and he gets hurt. So there's a power play for the Sabres, though, in the first period. We go to the second period. Hutton's in. Hutton is not Ullmark. Hutton's a good backup, is really where Hutton is. If Ullmark's out for a while, that's going to make things even more difficult for Buffalo. Bratt scores from Zacha at 5:27. The Sabres get a power play. They do score on it, and it's Casey Mittelstadt. So, yes, Eichel's out, and yes, Ullmark's hurt, but Mittelstadt gets on the board with a power play marker from Stahl and Miller at 8:03. The Sabres then go back to the power play. That one gets killed off. The Devils, however, they get back-to-back power plays before the end of the second period. So it's a special teams battle, and to that stage, it looked like Buffalo was going to win it. They're up 2-1 after 2. Third period, early press by the Devils. Hutton denies Zacha. Hall then gets a 4-minute high sticking penalty. So that's problematic. Did Hall get a point tonight? He did eventually. But it's problematic to get a double minor. During the first 2 minutes of that double minor, Wood continues the amazing start he's been off to. Gusev with the assist at 4:25. And then Hischier scored from Zacha at 6:45. It's Hischier's first of the year. That puts New Jersey up 3-2. So suddenly, Buffalo's behind. Reinhardt had a chance that fired wide. There's a power play for the Sabres, and they score on it. And it's Reinhardt again. Another goal for Reinhardt, power play marker from Hall and Dahlin at 15:30. That ties it up. We're going to overtime. Doesn't take very long. First shot, Zacha from Bratt and Smith at 1:17. So Ty Smith gets on the board, and for New Jersey, they come out with 2 points tonight. They go to 7-6-2 and drop Buffalo to 6-8-3. So a lost point for Buffalo, and they'll debate what happened in this game and how this fell apart for them, I would imagine. Shots in this one, 15-11 New Jersey in the first, 12-11 Buffalo in the second, 13-9 New Jersey in the third. They get the only shot of overtime, the shot that matters. Final shots, 40-32 in favor of the Devils. Power plays 1 for 4 for New Jersey, 2 for 4 for Buffalo. Blackwood saves 29 out of 32. Ullmark saves all 15 shots he faced. And then Hutton saved 21 out of 25 in relief, and he takes the OTL. So, rough night for Buffalo and for New Jersey. At least they win this one, and they come out of this on a good note, and we'll see where they go from here. All right, moving along. Nashville. It happened again. And, you know, I came out of this game, and I did get a chance to watch a lot of this game. So all of the games I've just reviewed all started at the same time. But half an hour later, this game starts. So that means when all of these go to intermission, I'm watching this. So that's why you got more notes under the Detroit-Nashville game. I got to watch more of that. And, yeah, that was interesting because, again, I don't know why John Hines... I don't understand. I still do not understand the hiring of John Hines. When they got rid of Peter Laviolette and they brought in John Hines, I thought, well, maybe David Poile sees something that we don't. Maybe it'll end up making sense. It still doesn't. This is Detroit flat out beat them. So early chances for the Preds. In fact, the shots were 3-0 in their favor 3 minutes in. It looked like this might be a big game for Nashville. The Wings were relying on Bernier early, but they score. Glendening from Zadina and Helmet, 4:55. Now, Glendening has 1 assist against the rest of the league. I believe he now has 5 points out of his 6 against Nashville. He likes playing against Nashville, or he's auditioning for a job there, because he scores to make it 1-0. Rene stopped a slopper from Mantha. Nemesnikov shot wide. Then there's a Wings power play that takes place. No goal on the power play, and the best chance for that power play was Fabry. It doesn't score tonight. The power play for Detroit continues to be a problem. Not that they didn't overcome it tonight. Wings press after 10.5 minutes. Face-off win. Larkin hits the post, and when he hits the post, you hear Mickey Redmond say, "Oh, geez." And kind of like a, here we go. And there were a few moments tonight where you could hear Mickey kind of having that, here we go moment. I'm right there with him. So power play for the Predators, and they score on it. It's Granlund on the power play from Yossi and Tolvanen at 14:15. That makes it a 1-1 draw after the first period. Second period, power play for the Preds. The Wings killed that off. They get a power play, but during their power play, it's a shorthanded chance for Grimaldi. So Rocco Grimaldi, good shorthanded player, good player altogether. But Sam Gagner, Sam Gagner, he scores from Ryan at 8:37, and there's people watching the highlights going, "Oh, Gagner's still playing." I guarantee there's at least a few people thinking that. And Gagner would remind them, "Yeah, I'm still playing, and I'm still pretty good." It was banked in off Rene, and it was a bad goal. Got to be honest, you shouldn't be able to score from behind the blue line or behind the goal line like that, and he did. Banked it in off Rene. If Rene's properly hugging the post, that doesn't go in. Even Gagner seemed surprised when it went in. So Bobby Ryan with an easy assist on that one. Predators get a power play, and that was right after that goal was scored. The Wings, though, shorthanded, had a 4-on-2. It misfired. Good penalty kill, though. Third period. Howla scores from Ellis at 2:55. That's his first goal as a member of Nashville. He finally gets off that cold streak he's been on, and that makes it a 2-2 tie. And then the Predators push at 8 minutes. And again, if you're a Detroit fan watching this, you're probably thinking, well, all right, well, we had a good run. This is where it all falls apart. This is where the wheels fall off. However, Gagne, Sam Gagne, from Ryan into Kaiser at 9:58. So Bobby Ryan with a couple of assists tonight. And yeah, that made it 3-2. And then Bernier with a huge highlight reel save on Yossi. Bernier had another great game for Detroit. Then there's some 4-on-4 play. And Mark Stahl had a chance that was stopped. Somebody's forgotten to tell Mark Stahl that he's supposed to strictly be a defensive defenseman. I have to say that the way he's played in Detroit, it's the best I've seen him play in years. And I think it's increased his trade value. So while they picked him up and they got a draft pick from the Rangers to take his cap hit away, I get the feeling they're going to flip him at the deadline and get back another draft pick. And it's Yzerman looking smart right off the hop here. They did keep talking during this game about the draft lottery and the draft and trying to push all of it back. And Ken Daniels did kind of put a wet blanket on all of it at the end where he's like, well, because of all the CBA stuff in this, they may not be able to move it back. And I thought, all right, good. You've got to make sure the fan base understands that while pushing back the draft might be best for scouts and teams and all that, the logistics might make it too difficult to actually make it happen. Ernie would then score. He scores from Helm and Glendenning at 16:22. And I have to be honest, the Detroit announcers legit sound surprised when Detroit gets a goal like this and when it's Adam Ernie. And the other part with this, Glendenning gets the second assist, also guilty of a penalty. Again, you're watching the Detroit feed. Glendenning runs somebody over and they're like, oh, he got away with one there. Oh, wow. And then it goes down to the other end of the ice and Ernie scores and they're like, Glendenning's going to get a point on that. Like there's some bad karma coming or something. Like it just, I do appreciate that kind of honesty from announcers, and you don't seem to see that enough. Like, I don't mind them being biased and admitting who they're cheering for, but it's okay to admit your team got a penalty or that your team got away with one, and that's what they admitted right there. And it was tough because that's basically your deciding goal for Nashville. Goaltender gets pulled with 3.5 minutes left because now they were down by 2. And who hits the empty net from the other end of the ice? Sam Gagne with a hat trick. His first hat trick he's had since 2012. Remember that big 8-point game he had? First time he's had one since then. So, 16:56, he gets the hat trick, makes it look easy, and final score is 5-2. Detroit improves to 6-13-3. Nashville drops to 8-11. Things get worse for Nashville. Shots in this one, 12-11 Nashville in the first, 13-10 Nashville in the second, 14-11 Nashville in the third. Final shots, 39-32 in favor of the Preds. Nashville 1 for 3 on the power play, Detroit 0 for 3. All of those stats would tell you Nashville played well, and then you look at the 5-on-5 goals and you realize it just didn't work out. Rene saved 27 out of 31. At least 2 of the 4 that he allowed shouldn't have gone in. And for Bernier, 37 saves on 39 shots. The Detroit Red Wings just had the better goalie tonight. Was a big part of the story. All right, now I got to change boards one last time. I will admit that when I do these reviews, you can tell which games I'm really into and which teams I'm really interested in watching. In Detroit, fascinated with watching Detroit. And Winnipeg. So the teams in the North, clearly my favorite team in the North is not getting anywhere near the playoffs. It's not. There's no. Their tire fire, the smoke doesn't reach the playoffs from their tire fire. So Winnipeg is just so fun to watch. It's kind of a thrill ride in that you're kind of like, oh, this could go really badly. Well, they won. For Montreal, this was the debut of a brand new coach. And so with the new coach and the new assistant coach, try not to read too much into what happened tonight if you're a Montreal fan. That being said, it feels like it's getting away from Montreal right now. So the shots were actually 3-1 for the Habs at 3 minutes. They came out very well. Pionk had a chance that deflected wide. There's a post for Kyle Connor. Price seemed dialed in to that point in the game. And that's the thing with Carey Price. Carey Price in the same game can look absolutely fantastic. Like, there's Carey Price. He's the guy that won a Vezina, and he was a Hart Trophy winner. He's great. And then 20 minutes later, you're like, how did that go? I don't understand. What is going on? Who is that guy? Same guy. And so Drouin to Anderson was a potential 2-on-1 for a goal, and Pionk denied that, pushed into the corner. Josh Anderson would leave this game with an injury, and the new coach is saying it's no big deal. It's not a bad injury. But if you're a Habs fan, you have to be concerned. Armia scores from Romanov and Byron at 13:45. The Jets push to answer. However, Armia scores again from Drouin and Petrie at 17:49. On the road, Montreal up 2-0 after one period. Easy peasy. Second period, power play for the Jets, and it scores. Connor from Wheeler and Scheifele at 5:37. Connor's been all around the net. You knew he was going to score. Tonight he did. The Habs then get a power play, though, and they score. Tatar from Kotkaniemi and Petrie at 7:33. So Montreal's power play's on the board. They're up 3-1. Again, on the road, pretty good game. And Price is playing well. And then Connor scores from Stastny and Ehlers at 11 minutes and 50 seconds. That has to be kind of an uh-oh if you're a Montreal fan. And then Blake Wheeler scores from Pionk and Dubois at 14:31. Yeah, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Remember a couple weeks ago, everybody was taking a victory lap for Columbus for how they rooked Winnipeg, and Dubois sucks, and they got Laine and they got Roslovic. And hey, I still think Columbus probably wins that trade, but it's close. And tonight's another example of why. This is how Dubois can play. Third period, Jets start with the power play. They don't score on it, but then Sherratt, guilty of a high stick at 4 minutes and 12 seconds, gives the Jets another power play. It's a dangerous power play, but Carey Price making saves. And then after the power play ends, who scores? Nate Thompson, right, from Appleton and Lowry at 6:37. And that's one of those ones that, you could build maybe some momentum off the penalty kill. They don't. Thompson's goal led to Suzuki almost getting an answering goal of his own, and he draws a power play for the Habs. So, and then that gets killed off by the Jets. The Jets get another power play. The Habs kill that off. Only allowed 2 shots during that. But after all the power play exchanging has been done, Pierre-Luc Dubois scores from Kopp and Perreault at 12:37, and that makes it 5-3 for the Winnipeg Jets. Again, it is a thrill ride with Winnipeg. I don't know how they get here, but there's a lot of skill on that team. Perry and Ehlers then had a fight. Yeah, Ehlers with a fight. He had an assist. He just didn't have a goal. And they even said, for Perry, this is a no-win situation because Ehlers is like 150 pounds soaking wet. So at best, you beat up a little guy. At worst, he held his ground against you. So Ehlers showing his toughness, and Nick Ehlers this is not the first time I've seen him willing to go with somebody this season. There's a lot of battle in that guy, and he is one of my favorite Jets for a reason. Goaltender gets pulled with 2.5 minutes left. Well, when you pull the goalie against the Jets, they will usually score, and they do. It's Mark Scheifele getting a goal to go with his assist. Wheeler with an assist as well. So Wheeler with a goal and 2 assists tonight. Kopp with another helper on that one as well. So he ends up with 2 assists tonight. That's at 18:22. The Jets win 6-3. They go to 12-6-1. Montreal drops to 9-6-4. Has to be tough for Montreal fans. Shots were 8 apiece in the first period, 11-7 Winnipeg in the second, 11-6 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots 30-21, so Montreal fades as the game goes along. Montreal 1 for 2 on the power play, Winnipeg 1 for 4. Carey Price, 24 saves on 29 shots. Mediocre numbers. And Hellebuck only faced 21 shots and saved 18 of them. So it's not like Hellebuck had a fantastic night, but they put more shots on Price and they got more goals. All right, speaking of no more goals, so I wrote this on the board halfway through the third period when John Garrett said, the Rangers, Detroit, and St. Louis have been shut out 3 times this year. So I put that they've been shut out as well 3 times. You reach a point where a team you cheer for is playing so anemically, so badly, you just got to laugh it off. And right from the opening face-off tonight, that was me with Vancouver. I am checked out. The last game that did it. So reverse retros for both. The Canucks have lost all 4 games wearing the reverse retros. Those jerseys are gone. They are they are gone. I really don't think we'll ever see them again. Near miss by McDavid from Leon Draisaitl, and yeah, McDavid, another good game. I think the Canucks controlled them as much as they could. I think Demko did the most that he could. Demko was fantastic. Ben hits the side of the net. The Canucks get a power play. The Oilers killed it off. They get a power play. Draisaitl had an open net chance that was denied. Yamamoto with a crossbar. And Demko denied Kara. Momentum shift in favor of the Edmonton Oilers, and they were getting just a few too many breakaways. Second period, early Oilers chance. Demko makes the save. Höglander then had a chance that was stopped. Smith denies Gaudette. That's 0 goals in, well, it was 10 games coming to this one. I think it's 11 games now since Gaudette had his last goal. McDavid draws a penalty on Edler. So Edler to the box. And it feels like every game Edler goes to the box. And he tied Stan Smyl for 4th on the all-time games played list tonight for Vancouver, behind Linden and the Sedins. And he's just, it's that point where defensemen's taking hooking, slashing, high sticks, and it's when their mobility just isn't where they need it to be. So for them to hold their check, they kind of have to hold and hook. And yeah, I mean, back in the early 2000s, you could do that and prolong your career, but that's where we're at with Edler. He takes one of those penalties every game. And the problem is, I'd be all for cutting back his ice time, but there isn't anybody on that blue line who can properly replace Edler right now. Demko caught a chance from McDavid, and then Chason. Chason scores on the power play from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Barrie continues this amazing run. He's been on at 7:41. The Canucks coming into today, 0-11 when they allow the first goal, which means that when they score the first goal, they're 8-3-2, which also isn't great. It's not that great. So yeah, 0-11 when they allow the first goal, and that's where I went, and done. Not that I did not expect any kind of victory tonight. Draisaitl gets the Oilers their 4th breakaway, which was saved by Demko. Things get scrummy with 7:25 left, and we saw visual proof that the puck hates Jake Virtanen, where it was, I'll say 5/6 of the way across the line, but that last 1/6 of the puck, that sliver of the puck, wouldn't go across because it's Jake Virtanen. And then on the next play, Jake Virtanen with a great chance, denied by Mike Smith because he's Jake Virtanen. Smith was standing on his head, sometimes literally it seemed, standing on his head, doing the 2-pad stack. His mask is a throwback to Fir, and his style of play tonight was a throwback to Ranford, as Garrett said. Canucks pressure, that draws a power play. The Oilers killed it off. But then they take another penalty at the buzzer because, sure. Third period, Horvat bats one wide during that opening power play. That's as close as the Canucks would get. They didn't have a shot on the net. They were 0 for 3, and it just felt like, and feels like Canucks won't score. And it felt like that in the second period, to be honest. Like, it just felt like they weren't getting a goal tonight. Canucks get their 4th power play. It also had 0 shots. And there was a shorthanded chance as it ended for Gaetan Haas. So, still 1-0. The Oilers get a power play. Antoine Roussell's hit 1,000 penalty minutes. Yay. Roussell's got it. I knew he could do it. And while he's in the box celebrating his 1,000th penalty minute, is a power play goal for Puljujarvi from Draisaitl and McDavid at 12:35. And just, that's it. There just doesn't feel like there's, and again, I've talked about effort. It just doesn't feel like there's any heart in it from the Canucks. It's like their heart just hasn't been there this year. Smith wasn't giving them anything either. The Oilers get their 5th power play with 3:53 left. The Canucks pull the goalie with 1:40 left. I put LOL next to that because they're not scoring. And then it's an empty net marker by McDavid from Yamamoto at 19:37. Makes it 3-0. The Oilers go to 14-8. The Canucks drop to 8-14-2. But again, because Montreal's not winning and because Calgary is in the tank, there will still be, I'm expecting to hear from management over the next week or so. We think we're still in this because we're not that far out. We've got this many points. They've got that many. We think we're still in this. That's what I kind of expect to hear from management. We believe in the guys in the room, and we think we can still play through this, and we're going to be just fine. Shots, 13-9 Vancouver in the first, 50-12 Vancouver in the second. In the third, Edmonton, 12-4. And that's the thing. Edmonton came out in the third period and shut the door. Final shots, 33-32 for the Oilers. Smith gets his 41st career shutout, 32 saves for that. I had that on the board early in the third. Demko saves 30 out of 32 in the loss, and I feel bad. He should be able to sue the team for no support. There you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And on Saturday, it still looks like we're going to have 14 games on Saturday. So it's going to be an all-day games for me. And I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.